you all, and welcome to our kickoff show here on Moor TV. I'm your host, Cynthia Martin L. I know you guys have heard of a saying, reading is fundamental. And yes, for me it surely was. As a young girl growing up, I loved to read. My mom, when she would discipline me, she would always send me to my room, but I would never cry, so she would wonder why was this girl crying. So one day she'd come into the room, and as she did, I was sitting in there in the middle of the floor reading my books, and then she knew right then and there that, hey, this is not punishment for this child. She loves to read, and I have loved to read my whole life. Our show is designed for readers and non-readers alike, of course, from all over the world, but we're also looking for authors, we're looking for musicians, we're looking for people who are looking to publish or do just about anything. Okay, so send your information to us. As we bring words to life, our viewers and our supporters alike will have an opportunity to win fabulous prizes, consisting of new books, discount tickets on destination trips all over the world, and much more. So let's get ready for some more food for thought, shall we? Welcome back to the Cynthia Martin L Show, you guys. One of the keys to any serious researcher or historian is to receive the etymon degree. What is the etymon degree? Etymology is the study of the egg or the root of the word at its conception. So here are some key books that I think all home libraries should have within them. And the first being the Webster's American 1828 Dictionary, right here, which you can see is a pretty hefty book, pretty heavy, but it is very critical that you have this. If you can't find this, then any earlier dictionary will do, up until about 1933. The next book, of course, would be your Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. And again, this one too, if you can't find the earliest edition, then please try and find one that probably a PDF or something on Google can help you out there. The next book, of course, is what we just spoke about, was the Oxford Dictionary of English Etymology. Again, as you're reading and going through finding words and finding what they mean, then the etymology book would also help you. As you know, English is a very tricky language. The next book would be to also have at your side would be your Webster's Thesaurus book. Well, why would I need a thesaurus? Well, just like all the other books you're going to have this at your side in case you run across words that you need to have a quick reference about. The next book that I want you to have is the U.S. Constitution. Now this one is tricky as well too, because some of the constitutions you will have the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution for the United States. Two different animals. So I would like for you to have both of those. The next book I would like you to have is a Holy Quran Circle 7. Why? For our Moorish viewers, this is critical that you carry this with you on your person every day. Also your one-on-ones. Now this is just what I do. So everything I'm telling you today is what I do. This is the collection that I have in my personal library, and I want to share it with you guys. Okay? So your Holy Quran in your bag, your purse, one-on-ones in your bag and your purse. The next one is the Kabbalion. Well, why would you say the Kabbalion? Well, because it deals with ancient knowledge, our culture, ancient knowledge, and as well as telling you what to do and how to do it. It sort of mirrors and matches the Quran. That's why I love it so much, because you can actually go here and then go here. Okay. So those are the 5 top books and 5 top documents that I would like you to have. The other document, in addition to the U.S. Constitution, okay, the next thing I would like for you to have as well is the Declaration of Independence, because as you know, things have been tricky, and so once you know the Constitution, if you know the Declaration of Independence, they sort of go together and you will get clarity. as we go along. I'll leave it at that. Now those are the 5 top, reference books. Whenever you sit down to read, what must you have by your side? You just can't sit down and take a book and start reading it. Wonder if you come across a word that you don't know the meaning of, what would you do? You go immediately to the dictionary and look it up, and we will be, as we go, we're going to be taking it piece by piece, because how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So I'm not going to be jamming all this stuff down your throat. And I thought I picked out some easy books for you to start with. So as we go, I'll be explaining to you exactly why I chose these particular books. So, but right now, I think we're going to take a little break and pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
More TV, more real MCs, more love, more truth, peace to Drew Ali.
What if our founding fathers were in possession of a secret? A secret that, if revealed, would expose all the lies in American history. A secret that the members involved took a blood oath to keep hidden. What if all the evangelical and Christians in this country woke up and read the United States of America, Tripoli Treaty, Article 11? What is the real history behind the secret letter of George Washington? Why is America's oldest and unbroken treaty with Morocco of all countries? And who are the Moors? What is the mystery, the history and the secret of the cherry tree? On December 25th, the lie ends where it began. George Washington and the secret of the cherry tree.
It's the miseducation of the Negro. When we rise from the dead, they call us Pharaoh. The gods are back, the Moors are strapped. We waking up and we want our land back. Running off at the trap, you know them gods don't like that.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Cynthia Martin show. We're going to continue with our book selection. You guys already know that you have your 5 reference books here that you can utilize when you're reading. But I want to take you into at least about, I said 5 books more, but I think I got a couple of extra just because, you know, they sort of match each other. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take this first one here. It's called The 77 Amazing Facts About the Moors. Now this book was actually written by one of our very own Grand Sheiks called Cujo L, as well as Rami A. Salam L out in California. This book is jam-packed. I love it, and it's a small book. So I was trying to get you guys some small books so that you're not, you know, inundated and afraid to read. Because again, in order to read, and we're going to go through some, you know, real dire statistics later on that I found in 2003 about how adult readers it's just not happening. So we're living in a world of illusion because we're really not, you know, versed and studied on what we need to know. This book here, like I said, is a very small book. It goes into telling you about various characters in our Moorish nation. And again, it's I don't want to say where we can purchase this right now because I don't know. I think I got this from Caitlin Land Moors, I think, and I ordered it online, so I can't really remember if it was another bookstore or not. But this book is great. The next book sort of mirrors and matches this. It's 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro, and this was by J.A. Rogers. Okay, he has a very extensive collection, but I thought, again, thin book. Everybody can read 20 pages, okay, to get started. Amazing facts about the Negro. Some things that you may not know. First of all, Charlotte is in the back. Queen Charlotte. And that's another thing that we're going to be looking at pretty soon. And also, what I wanted to show everyone, since everyone was just talking about the Ku Klux Klan and all of that, I wanted to show you guys something in this book that is very interesting, because that's not the Ku Klux Klan stuff, that's our stuff. And here you go. You can see all the Ku Klux Klan, these are Moors, these are not modern European. Okay? So again, this book, you'll find some very interesting facts in that. The third book, and which is really close to my heart, which my grandfather taught me when I was a young girl, was The Art of War. Well, Cynthia, why do you want The Art of War? We're not in war, okay, but you still have to know the strategies that are being used against you. And you also have to know the strategy of war, because it's all mental. So this book, Art of War, is the original book. This book here is an extended version of that book. A lot of people don't have this extended version, but I bought it anyway because it's just a little bit thicker. The Art of War. Okay. The next one is chess. All these three books right here goes together. Chess and the Art of War. Why? Because chess teaches you strategically how to maneuver in life. And this book right here particularly is from one of our own as well. His name is Coach Cliff. He's right here from Houston. The book was published by one of our own publishers, Logo Publishing, and he teaches children, young children in our neighborhoods, how to play chess. He's also, his company is called King Chess League Partners, and he goes all over the world teaching people how to play chess, because again, chess is a strategic game. So you got to know how to play chess in order to play life. The next thing, and this is to my heart, is The Rise and Fall of Black Wall Street. Now, I've asked 1,000 people along the way, have you ever heard of Black Wall Street? And what was the answer? No. Why not? This was one of the greatest economic systems that was developed by our people in 1910. And it was also destroyed. Why? Because of lies, fear-mongering, and the like. But there was over 600 businesses. I'm talking about, banks. They had all types of, businesses, neighborhood businesses, public schools. They had every single thing. And believe it or not, there were even multimillionaires out of this group. They had airplanes. Believe it or not, I'm talking 1910. They had everything. Their homes were beautiful. They had pianos, beautiful china, linens in their homes, everything. But it was all destroyed for a lie. So, Black Wall Street. Another thing I want to say about Black Wall Street real quick, I heard earlier this year that it's going to not. I mean, no one is supporting it. So pretty soon no one will know about Black Wall Street. I think there's one lady that's still alive. She's 90 years old, and she told the horror story about that day. She's still alive. So, but anyway, Black Wall Street, learn about what we can do if we put ourselves together and unify. What we can do, it's been done before, so why can't it be done again? Cosmo L, who is also a Grand Sheik, I have a lot of his books. This book in particular is piqued my interest because it's called The Cherry Tree and the Hatchet. Well, some of you may know, and those of you who don't, the George Washington and the Cherry Tree is a movie that's coming out and be debuting December 25th of this year. So I wanted to make sure that we have all the knowledge that we can on the cherry tree, because some of the knowledge out there was just conjecture or hearsay. And whenever you ask someone about the cherry tree, I won't tell you what it is until I read it to you, but whenever you ask someone, they've never heard of this. And the next one is the 5 Negro presidents, because most people think that George Washington was the first president. He was not. He was the 8th or 9th president. So I guess people will be wanting to know, how did that happen? Well, we're going to find out. So to that, as you can also see, I have a book here called Moors and Masonry, another extensive book that you can go through that tells you about the trade with all the modern Europeans coming over as immigrants and stuff like that. So we're going to get into that later on a little bit more deeply. This book here is called Icy, and it was also written by one of our very own and published by one of our very own. And it's a good book, and it's about a basketball player. I won't tell you exactly who that is yet, so until we go through the book. So Icy, you know, it's a great book, and it was done by Adani, which is one of our very own. So again, you know, we've been talking about reading, and all the books that we're going to go through is going to be very, very exciting. I have book lists for empowerment. We'll be having lists available that you guys can download for that in order to give you an extensive, list of what you can have, and this is just a small portion. I tried to make it as simple as possible because, again, if you do anything hard, most people will not read. And that is what our job is, and my charge of my life is to make sure that everyone gets back into reading.
More TV, more real MCs, more love, more truth, peace to Drew Ali.
And an enormous fireball that must have been 300 feet across was visible immediately. A secondary explosion, I think.
That's intimidation over there to me. And that's what this is. They everyday life, and they mad.
Proves that the official police story is indeed a lie. Medical reports prove that the
What if our founding fathers were in possession of a secret that, if revealed, would expose all the lies in American history? A secret that the members involved took a blood oath to keep hidden. What if all the evangelical and Christians in this country woke up and read the United States of America, Tripoli Treaty, Article 11? What is the real history behind the secret letter of George Washington? Why is America's oldest and unbroken treaty with Morocco of all countries? And who are the Moors? What is the mystery, the history and the secret of the cherry tree? On December 25th, the lie ends where it begun. George Washington and the secret of the cherry tree.
Hi guys. This morning my spirit talked to me and told me something. What is spirit? Spirit is something inside of you that reveals this truth. And in revealing this truth today, I thought I would share something with you in regards to George Washington and the cherry tree. It's coming out of the book of Synchronicity and the Seventh Seal by Peter Moon. And it's chapter 37, page 289. It's called History Lesson. Historians know that the story of George Washington and the cherry tree is complete fiction. but no one has ever explained the precise mechanism of how it insidiously worked its way into the fabric of American culture. George Washington's cherry tree is a proverbial expression of what happened to the Moorish people and the so-called black race during the reign of George Washington. Although Drew Ali was probably not the first to spread the tale of the cherry tree, he certainly had an interesting story to back it up with. Morocco was the first country in history to officially recognize the fledgling United States of America. And when they did, Washington was presented with a Moorish flag. At that time, the Moroccan flag was pure red and was sometimes thought of as a cherry. Drew Ali stated to all who would listen that at its inception of our nation, a treaty was worked out with Morocco that any Moor, so-called black person, or Asiatic, which was also interpreted to mean Caucasians when necessary at the time, could claim themselves to be a Moorish national and thus be free from the bondage of slavery. This distinctly meant that if you were a slave on a plantation and walked over to the president's office and declared yourself a Moorish national, you would be declared the subject of a sovereign nation and your citizenship would be restored. In other words, you were a free man or woman. While the terms of this treaty were readily accepted by Washington, he made no significant effort to circulate or promote these terms. In what could easily be considered one of the greatest ruses of history, colored people were not informed of the means by which they could free themselves and were thus tricked. Now, before I go any further than that, we've listened to a couple of words that I want you guys to really know the meaning of. As I told you before, as we read and we come across words that you may not understand, but let's go to our dictionary here, our 1828 dictionary, and we're coming out of page, let's see, 619, and we're going to look up the word ruse, because that's what happened. Let's see what that word says it means. Okay, it says here that it's a noun. It means trick, vile, fraud, deceit. Okay. This is the exact meaning of George Washington chopping down the cherry tree. This is why the minstrel rendition includes the so-called black person being in the cherry tree or outhouse when it was taken down. Morocco was long the home of the Moors, and after the purge of 1492, y'all know the song, 1492, 700 years, educated by the Moors, so we know we were here. Many fled back to their homeland. When Washington became president, the triangular trade route of slavery had long since been established, and he was a direct beneficiary of the slave trade. Let me repeat that. He was a direct beneficiary of the slave trade. So what that simply means is he was trading in slaves. So he had a reason why he didn't want us to become free. As the United States was asserting and gaining its independence, the Sultan of Morocco was besieged by stories and complaints of what had happened to his brethren across the seas. One must remember that slavery had been abolished in Europe, but was getting a new life in America. As the United States declared its independence, Morocco was aggressively interested in pursuing a dialogue and recognizing this country because it had a vested interest, enslaved citizens and relatives. So the Moroccans, the Moorish Americans, were already here. Okay? They were essentially suing for peace. Although Morocco was eager to establish formal relations, the United States was busy with their own war and other problems. They did not respond. And I'm going to stop right here, ladies and gentlemen, because in our next show, we're going to continue this. But I don't want to give you too much. But if you're excited about what you just heard, then you need to invite 7 people to come on to the next show so that we can continue our show here. Okay? So we're going to start at what continued to happen, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, and why George Washington did not obey.
We need that more TV, more real MCs, more love, more truth, peace to Drew Ali. We need that more TV, more real MCs, more freedom, more justice, and they know who we be. We need that more TV, more real MCs, more love, more truth, peace to Drew Ali. We need that more TV, more real MCs, more freedom, more justice, and they know who we be.
Also known as Virgo Ginny, and I'm your host for this year's One Love Travel Club trip to Cuba in October 2017. My mission is to empower young women and older women that you can be whoever you want to be, follow your dreams, embrace who you are, let go of the idea of being perfect, because we are perfectly flawed just the way we are. And I think it's definitely perfect for One Love Travel Club for us to collaborate this year, as they're all about helping and giving back to people and just connecting people with different cultures, which is everything that I love to do when I travel on my Virgo adventures. Aside from us exploring and taking magical pictures and eating the best food, I will also be hosting a workshop all about self-love, self-care, and giving you plenty of tips to become a guru online. To join me on my trip, all you have to do is go to www.onelovetravel.club and sign up and come with me to Cuba. It's going to be magical, we're going to have the best time, and I cannot wait to meet you. Bye guys!